All right, looks like we're live and ready to go. All right, good morning. Good morning. My name is Jillian. I'm the Vice President of Marketing Communications and Strategies for CEO Consulting Group, and we're here for Marketing Mondays with Heather McElrath, Sandbox Communications. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Oh, did you blink and then it was the end of January or?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can't believe Friday is February.
That's wrong, right? That seems
Yeah, I still feel like I'm trying to get set up for the year.
right. Me too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Today is definitely Monday. It is definitely. I think the thing that is so weird to me is this month feels like it was 1 hour, but from 2020 to the end of 2024 felt like 1 year to me. Like one long nightmarish year that I couldn't. And then I'm like, oh, it's actually been 5. Okay, I need to stop disassociating. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so we're excited to be here with everyone. Happy Monday. Gotta laugh a little bit because it is a Mondaying Monday. Monday is Monday. Yep. All right. I'm gonna need more coffee. There's not enough caffeine in this cup. Anyway, so today we're going to talk to you guys about effective ad strategies that work, that are low maintenance, low cost, and high return on investment for areas of your digital presence that include wanting to grow in reach, engagement, following, and overall impact of your relationships and maybe even a sales funnel or two. So we're going to talk about advertising strategies that work really, really well across Facebook, Instagram, and Google My Business. And we might jump in and out of some of these things, but if you have any questions wrapped around those 3 things, go ahead and put them in the chat for us. And I've got that pulled up so I can see. We've got 3 people on with us live right now. And if you're watching the replay afterwards, please say hi below. Let us know if you have any questions. We'd be happy to answer them. So Heather, I was under the impression, as I would imagine other people are, that in order for you to run ads on Google, you gotta spend a lot of money. And it makes me never want to recommend that because I've been told that spending money on Google is like lighting money on fire. But I'm comfortable with advertising on Facebook and Instagram, and I've heard that too about those things, and I know how to do those. So I'm curious to know what's the deal with Google My Business? Why is it important? How do you advertise on it, and how much does that cost?
So let's start just with the basic profile, which is actually free. So a Google Business Profile is free. It's provided by Google. Let me give you some perspective just because things have changed over the last couple of years and because um, so many people are actually struggling right now with verification. So I know we're talking about advertising, but let me just kind of give a little bit of a groundwork first. So first, claim your Google Business Profile. I will put a link in the chat afterwards how to do that. Sorry, making myself a note. And then, so it's free, set it up. And then what you really need to do is maintain it like you would Facebook, Instagram, etc. And why you do that is that Google wants fresh content. They want you to look like you're helping your client. So when you add updates, when you add offers or information, you're helping your client.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. That's exactly what you want to do, right?
Right.
But you want to do it at least 2 times a week would be my minimum for you. And all of that again is free. So then you can tie advertising into it. And I would say your minimum is probably $500 a month. The one problem with that is that you're not going to get anyone really to be able to manage it for you. So you're going to have to learn how to manage your Google ads. Now, I'll give you a couple other tricks for that is that so Google actually has an ability to have a phone call with them and they will walk you through how to set it up. And that is actually free. Then they have another system that's like $40 for a call with them to figure out, what you need to do, how you can best use their platform. And there are different kinds of advertising that you can do in terms of whether it's search related or
Mhm.
whether it's product related. And so search related is probably those of us, or actually, I don't have a brick and mortar store. So those with brick and mortar stores, you probably want to think about a search one that is, let's say, gyms near me, that kind of thing. So
Mhm.
that's really what you would focus on.
Mhm.
Let me pause there because I feel like I'm about to go down another rabbit hole. So let me pause for a second there. And does that make sense? I did leave out one little thing, which was um, one of the reasons I mentioned the verification is that, just to give you some perspective, before COVID, to have a Google business profile, you had to have a brick and mortar store.
Right.
Well, COVID changed everything, obviously. And
Mhm.
so what they're doing now is almost a bunch of fake businesses were set up. And so all of those are now being challenged. So if you have anything that like looks suspicious to them, and let me tell you, it's almost nothing that can look suspicious, you'll lose your verification. And then you have to go through that. So all of that to say, one, I wanted to share that because so many people are coming to me and going, I don't know what I did. I didn't, what am I doing wrong? You're not doing anything wrong. You're not alone. So look into the free calls,
Mhm.
attach your advertising to your Google business profile, and then make sure you're keeping it up to date. And I know I need to do more, but now I promise I pause.
Yeah, no, those are so there's a lot there. So let's
I
talk.
know. I'm so sorry.
I want to back up to
Yeah.
verification because that is a process you can do on all your digital platforms. And it is a money maker. I've heard people say it's just a way for them to make money. Yes, absolutely. They are businesses. Okay, next. Okay. So now that we're all over that, I believe that the verification for Meta Business or for Meta is something like $15 a month or something around that per page. And the thing about having your profile verified is that it allows these digital platforms to recognize that you are not a dead piece of real estate on the internet, essentially. And I think that that's like for our audience, probably the best way to describe it is like when people put a house up on the market, if there's, if you're going to sell it, you want people doing tours, you want people seeing it, you want people coming by, whether they're driving by or they're referred to the listing and all those things. That's what it's like being on digital. You're just doing it in a more like frameworked way. And when we create pages with our keywords and stuff on them, but then don't use them, it makes us look like we're not active businesses online. And so it's really important that you identify whether or not this is the right season for you to be verified. If so, what platforms are you going to agree to that expense in your budget? And then going from there to help improve everything on your pages, whatever your goals are. But the verification process is for Meta and which covers Facebook and Instagram, I believe it's a less than 2 week process. I think Google mails you something, right?
There's a couple different, actually, there's three different ways to do it. One is mail, one's an instant verification. So the other difference with Google is
Mhm.
that it is a free verification, but you have to have it. If you are not verified, you will not show up.
Mhm.
And within the last 6 months or so, you also have to get verified to advertise. So you have to go through the process. And it really is, it's a trust thing because there have been so many fake businesses out there, you know, causing some trouble. They want to know that you are a real human being with a real business actually helping clients.
Right. Absolutely. Um, okay, so the next part of this is the advertising piece. So in Facebook and Instagram, when we talk about advertising strategies, I have not figured it out, but like I've found a consistency in a low dollar amount in a specific style of advertising that seems to work for every single page we've ever worked on. I've never had this method fail. And what it is when your page on Facebook and Instagram has hit the point where, let's say you have 500 followers and your reach every month is at least the size of your following, if not greater. So at least 500, if not greater. Then that tells us that your page organically is ready to run ads. How do you identify if a Google My Business page is primed and ready for running ads? Or is that even a thing?
Um, it's a good question. I'm not sure it's quite a thing, but
Mm,
what I will say is ads support your SEO growth. They really do, but you have to be very specific in what you want to grow, your keywords, and the competition. So one of the good things about Google is that you can research the keywords and figure out what the difficulty is. Meaning, so there's like a 1 to 100 scale of difficulty to rank for something,
mhm,
and you want kind of a blend, things that are really easy to rank for and things that are harder to rank for. And
mhm,
so when you kind of put that together, that's where you find, okay, where am I on this scale? And what
mhm,
you want to be is in the top 10. Probably realistically, you want to be in the top 5. And I say that top 10 used to be ages ago, because 10 would be kind of the full page. But
mhm,
think about it now. We've got AI results, then we've
mhm,
got what people also ask. We've
mhm.
got sponsored ads,
Right,
and we have then organic. So you have
right.
all of that you're competing with.
So real quick, I want to pause here because from a visual perspective, our audience may not recognize what you're outlining. So if you're watching this, whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay, I want you to go in to your phone and Google it. It is the easiest way to see it. Do it through your phone's browser, because what will happen is you'll see the AI generated response, then you'll see all the list of questions, and then you'll see all the sponsored posts, which there's usually like 3 to 5, and then organic. So that way you can see how that layout is, so you understand what that order of the page is, because it impacts you. She's right. It needs
Yeah,
to go. You want to see yourself in the search results in the top 3 to 5, because I'm not even sure that they're showing that many.
yeah.
By the time you get to the end of that, it's like next page.
I mean, the good thing is they did reinstate, I don't know how long ago, but there's no longer the infinity page. It is back to 1 page, 2 page, so you can figure out like where you are
Mhm.
in the search results. And you can figure out, where, see yourself. If you're on the second or third page, you're just not going to get hits. You're not going to have drive traffic. So you have
Right,
to be on that first page. So
right.
let me kind of add on to your looking on your phone. Look on your desktop too. One of the reasons that I'm so big on Google Business Profile is that it helps support your local growth, your local traffic. So when you're on the left-hand side, you've got the AI, you've got the sponsored, you've got the questions, and then you've got the organic. But on the right-hand side, that's where the Google Business Profile shows up. And that's where you want to be. You want to be, if Jim near me, you want to be that one that pops up right over there on the right-hand side.
Mhm. Awesome. That's really helpful. So now when we look at advertising strategies on Facebook, Instagram, we want to see you guys plotting out, like, to do it in tiers. So one campaign works for the thing you're working on, assuming you know how to detail out your audience and you understand what your goal is and what your, what the return on investment, what does success look like, right? Now, if you want to get to the place where, let's say, you're trying to achieve growth on your page, but your page is plateaued. It's not growing anymore. Your engagement is there, and maybe you even reach your audience size, but like there's no growth. People aren't going to becoming new followers. One of the strategies that works really well on Facebook is to do a minimum of $5 a day, boosting geographically. And if you have, like, if your audience is everyone, generically speaking, geographically, like you can take business from anywhere, then you want to get really, really clear about their interests and their behaviors, so that when you're targeting who your ideal demographic is, your perfect customer avatar, when you're targeting them, you're not just randomly hitting everyone up, because everyone is not actually your customer. So it's important that you understand your perfect customer avatar's profile, behaviors, interests, demographics, all of those details. So when you go to target on Facebook, if you can do a page likes campaign for $5 a day, let that sit for the whole year. Just set it and go. It's $150 a month. Put that on your radar. It will help significantly everything else that you do. Now on Instagram, you can't run page likes campaigns. You used to be able to, but you can't anymore. So the second tier to that, in my opinion, and from my experience, is running a $5 a day ad to your website through Instagram. And having this 1-2 punch will both help improve your reach, but it'll improve your growth on your pages. If you're trying to get an engagement boost, whether you're running these campaigns underneath or not, the engagement boosting process that I found works really well is taking, if you have the budget, your highest performing post every single week and then boosting that for $25 for 5 days. So it'd be $5 a day for 5 days, equaling $25. This is a very low cost um, ad campaign, but what it does is if you can do one every single week and you have that layered campaign underneath it with the page likes or the website likes, what you'll see is every category will start to go up. So you'll start reaching all your markers and you'll go from this to this. And that's really what we want. We definitely don't want you doing this. If you're dipping down, then you need to call us. If you're here, then you need support and you need to do something to like resuscitate your page. And if you're here, then you're doing what you need to do. So like thinking about that graph that people see and they're like, I don't know how to read the analytics, just kind of, you want it to go this way, generically speaking, always. And so if it's not, you need to start implementing some strategies. And I call it popcorn advertising. It is not going to get you sales. It's not going to be like this life-changing strategy. What it's going to do is it's going to improve your organic experience across your channel. And so if you can take time to implement this like little tiny strategy, maybe just start on Facebook first, or if Instagram's your main one, but $5 a day for one plus another 100 for your 4 top performing posts for the week, and you will see reach, engagement, and growth on all of your channels, and you'll see increased website traffic. Now, if it converts, great. If it doesn't, then we got to look at those detailed targeting pieces. For you, Heather, from your perspective with Google My Business, talk to me about how you detail out an ad. Like, how does that work? How much authority do you have in decision making when you're setting that stuff up, and what should you be focused on?
There's actually a lot that you can do in the back end, probably just like Facebook. I haven't done as much Facebook advertising. The focus obviously is more on keywords, but the other thing that you really want to focus on are your images and your calls to action, meaning, are they engaging? So yes, if you've got great keywords and you're in the search, but are you asking people to actually do something? One of the things that I've seen is people say, they're like, we're a great page, but they don't say visit us or check us out or, really kind of get that people over the hump. So you not only have to have the right keywords, you've got to have some engaging stuff that people are like, don't miss out, or, really want them to take action. So if your ads aren't creating action, then something's happening.
Mhm. Yeah, that's such a good way to put it too. Um, Now, for your digital space, if you have a brick and mortar, then you also need to be doing your in-person like storefront marketing. And there's a lot of ways to do this that it's evergreen, affordable, and impactful. And I want to talk about one of our sisterhood members for a second. If you know Tara Flynn, then she owns the Global Local in Leesburg, in the old town. And when she first opened up her store, she was across the street from the location that she was at. And in this location, there was like an alcove, and you had to walk down the stairs and turn the corner to get to her shop. So it was kind of like almost like an experience to get there, which means that there was no glass window for people to see. Like there was nothing to pull people down this dark stairwell. And she got really creative, both with how she signed the road with an A-frame and directional signage to tell people where to park, tell them how to get from the parking lot to the front part of her store and to go down. But she merchandised her walkway. And so every step that she started to take was very intentional about her communications. And what that did was it helped improve both traffic to her store, but awareness that her store even exists to begin with. And when you think about that kind of in-person signage experience, that's what you're trying to do digitally, is you're trying to make it abundantly clear who you are, what you do, what problem you solve, who you serve, where you're located, how to connect with you, how to get started. You're trying to communicate all of those things. So if you ever get stuck in your marketing, think about what a grocery store is doing. Think about a retailer that you really enjoy. What are they focused on? What are they merchandising? What are the themes? If you're having trouble figuring out what to talk about on your channels, what to post, what's relevant, look at what everyone else is talking about and see if you can be a part of that bigger conversation. So, as an example, right now, the next thing everybody needs to be doing is Super Bowl, Valentine's Day, Love Month, relationships, loving yourself, health and wellness campaigns. It's February. We're all right. What happened? Anyway, it's February. So that's what your messaging should have something to do with the broader conversation, or you'll never pull new people in. It'll always be just exactly who you connect with. And if you're like a lot of business owners, maybe your first 300 followers are all friends and family. That's not helping you. It's not helping you. They're not your customer. It's not helping you. Unless they are your customer, then it is helping you. But having these impactful marketing and advertising strategies can play a really big role in the success of your overall brand awareness, your reach, your engagement, and your overall like expansion of your digital spaces. So when you're doing these things, when you're making decisions around what your advertising strategy is going to be, what your budget is going to be, I would say you need to be somewhere in between 300 and 600 a month minimum on an advertising budget for your digital spaces. And if you can go higher, it would be great if you could spend 1,000 a month. Not a lot of businesses can, and that's okay because that's 12 grand a year. It's not small. But when you're trying to get exponential growth, you need to do the 1, 2, 3 punch, not just the 1, 2 punch. It needs to be like 1, 2, 3. It needs to be all your digital spaces for social and your Google. Do not neglect the Google.
Yeah.
Don't neglect it.
Yeah,
Um,
let me just echo that.
yeah,
Don't neglect Google, but I'm struggling here, and I say this because I think if you focus on your Google and then do social ads, I think you can balance. Like I think, but when I say that, it also means you really have to have a clean website because Google is pulling from your website and your Google business profile. So when we're talking about when I say maybe you don't have to advertise on Google, you really do have to make sure though that your page is clean, that it is speaking with the search engines, that you're talking the same language, that they're connecting. You can do a lot of that with your Google business profile, but remember that profile connects back to your site. So if, I guess really the reason I'm kind of mentioning this is that it is expensive to advertise. So how can we balance all of those things? And for me, I would almost do the social advertising, but then SEO and Google business profile and make sure that those are all working together. I
right.
think, and actually let's definitely talk about that.
Yeah,
Working together. If
working.
your things are not in concert, you're not going to show up anywhere.
Right. That's so true. So the last thing I want to talk about, because we've got 6 minutes, and I think that this is going to be a really important piece that we do not want to miss, is one of the things about setting up your ads and making a decision to spend money on advertising, whether you do it digitally or print, is ensuring that wherever you're spending money, that you're optimized. So what does it mean to have an optimized profile and how do you do it, right? Like next question. Okay, so everybody just take a deep breath because it's not that hard, but it is tedious. So you got to do it. Your profile, whether it's Google My Business, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever, TikTok, RIP. Anyway, whatever, or whatever, maybe it's back. I don't know. Anyway, so I don't know what they're doing today. I should Google it. um, It's like whiplash. Anyway, you need to make sure that your profile information page section of your pages are filled out. That's what optimizing your pages means or whatever. So you need a profile picture. If it gives you a space for something, you need something there. And every gap that you have in that process is like a ding, like it doesn't help you. So if you have like a business Facebook page that you have stated as a brick and mortar and you don't have your hours filled in, you're missing an opportunity for communication and you're missing an opportunity to have an optimized profile. The more you put into it, the better the return on investment is going to be. And this goes for literally anything in your life. Just a friendly reminder for, a little mental health check. Like the more you invest in yourself, the better you're going to feel in the long run. And this is like investing in your business. So filling out the profile through and through, making sure you have all your links. Do not skip the links. That is the easiest part. Go put every single thing affiliated with your brand. Whatever you can, connect it. And if you're on Instagram, because they only let you have like one link, you can get like a link tree to do that part. But on Facebook, they give you like all the options, multiple listings, multiple social channels that you can connect all of that. So when you're going to do it, you want to make sure that you fill everything out, that you connect all your channels, that you put your links in. And then also make sure that you're using your SEO friendly keywords in your descriptions because
Yes.
it matters. So talk about that for a couple of minutes. What is it? How do you optimize Google My Business? And then what should they be putting in their profiles to match?
Very similar in terms of make sure it is all filled out. But then, yes, you need those keywords. And if you're like, well, where the hell do I find them? There's Google Trends. There are all sorts of free keyword finders. If you can invest in one, that's also great. And again, one of the things you have to be cognizant of is that there there are different levels of keywords. And again, it is like the long tail keywords, which means let me back up 1 second. When people think of keyword, they think one word,
Mhm.
but we are so far into search that
Mhm.
every one word is taken, like it's just gone. So what we're looking for are what's called long tail keywords, which are multiple words. So something like organic pizza near me, um, gluten-free organic pizza near me.
Mhm.
All that is a long-term key, long tail keyword.
Mhm.
Organic, gluten-free pizza near me. That is actually a long tail keyword.
Mhm.
And what's so important about that is something that you talk about all the time is being really laser clear on your
Mhm.
messaging, what you offer. When you are not only laser clear on who you are and what you offer, you're also laser clear on your keywords.
Yeah, I love that. That's like a mic drop moment in the marketing world. Like, boom. That's a good point because the thing is like we think all the time that we're communicating, and then we're surprised when we're not,
Yeah.
right? Like we're like, well, I feel like I've explained this. I can tell you that I sit with women all the time and I ask them, tell me what you do. And I am surprised at how many people cannot answer that in a clear and concise way. It shocks me because then I'm like, how do you have a business already? Like you don't even know how to explain what you do. How do people work with you? And when we do all of this stuff that we're doing, it's like I think we talked about this last week and the week before. The trend of marketing is humanizing AI right now. So like you have to think about if this were a person, this ad, we're going into the hands of somebody. I don't have anything to, oh, here, I have this in the mailbox. Okay. So this is an ad for furniture store here. And if somebody were to hand this to me, I would be able to see that it's a furniture store that has a distribution center and all their different locations, right? This is an ad right here. This is an ad. And it's a piece of paper. You're doing that digitally. And so your impression, your focus, your call to action, all of these pieces matter and they impact the overall results. So when you're going to make the decision on what you're doing next with your advertising strategy, take a minute to process how can you give your customer the best digital experience they can have? in your presence, so to speak, digitally, because that's what we're looking for is the digital experience, that first impression when they Google you, that first impression when they search for you on Facebook and Instagram, or they find you in the hashtag. Did you figure out, have you clearly figured out who you are enough to be able to pull your audience to you? And if you haven't, then work with me or Heather to figure out who your ideal customer avatar is. Because once you know that, then you're far ahead of everyone because that's what you can use to detail out your ads for 2025. Um, Awesome. And it's 9:30, so I guess we're done. All right. So if you guys are hanging out with us live, thank you to the 3 or 4 or 5, 6 of you that showed up. We love all of you every week. We will be back next Monday. And starting in February, we will be starting Wellness Wednesdays at 9 a.m. And I'm getting ready to put that schedule together. So an invitation to our sisterhood who wants to hang out with us and show off a little bit your expertise and help us all gain some peace of mind and business wellness holistically. So stay tuned for that. We'll be announcing that soon formally. This is informal. Anyway, okay, great. I'll see you guys next week. Heather, thank you so much for
You're
joining.
welcome, dear.
We'll see you guys later.
Bye, guys. See you next week.
Thank you. Bye.